Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I bet you didn't know that a single gray hull on the horizon could change the fate of an entire region. The morning sun glints off the calm blue water as a small wooden boat bobs gently on the waves. Mateo, a Filipino fisherman, casts his net, his family's lifeline. But today, a large gray Chinese dredging vessel, flanked by a Coast Guard cutter, anchors on the horizon. The hum of its machinery is a new, unwelcome sound in these ancient fishing grounds. The dredger pours sand onto the delicate reef of Scarborough Shoal. The gray hull is more than a ship. It's a shadow over their way of life. The transformation of Scarborough Shoal is not just a local crisis, it's a global flashpoint. For Mateo, it's the end of an era. Scarborough Shoal isn't much land at all, just a triangle of rocks and reefs barely visible at high tide. It sits about 120 nautical miles from the Philippines, but over 500 from China's Hainan Island. Its location is key right next to some of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Named after a British shipwreck, it's called Panatag Shoal by Filipinos and Huangyan Island by China. For centuries, its lagoon has been a sanctuary for fishermen and a rich source of tuna and grouper. Thousands of Filipino families depend on it for their livelihood. But its value goes beyond fish. Whoever controls the shoal can monitor and potentially disrupt global trade passing through the South China Sea. It's like a guard tower in the middle of a major highway. China has already built bases on other reefs. Scarborough would complete a strategic triangle, giving it control over the entire sea. This isn't just about territory, it's about power, food security, and the future of the region. A few rocks in the ocean have become a pivot point for global power. The stakes could not be higher. Who owns Scarborough Shoal? The Philippines claims it by geography and international law. It's within their exclusive economic zone. China claims it by history, citing ancient maps and the sweeping 9-dash line that covers most of the South China Sea. In 2012, a standoff ended with China taking de facto control, blocking Filipino fishermen. The Philippines took the case to an international tribunal, which ruled in their favor in 2016, invalidating China's claims. China rejected the ruling, insisting the court had no authority. So, the law is on the Philippines' side, but China has the ships. The result? A dangerous stalemate. Building a base would make China's control permanent, turning legal ambiguity into concrete reality. The world watches, but on the water, might is what matters. Scarborough Shoal is now a test of international law versus raw power. The outcome will echo far beyond these reefs. The day construction begins, dredgers give way to cargo ships loaded with steel and concrete. Cranes rise. A deep-water port is built, and a long runway takes shape, big enough for any Chinese military aircraft. Radomes and missile batteries appear, along with barracks for hundreds of troops. What was once a coral reef becomes a fortress in the sea. This base extends China's reach by hundreds of kilometers, creating an unsinkable aircraft carrier near the Philippines. Combined with other bases, it forms a network to monitor and control the South China Sea. China could enforce an air defense identification zone, demanding all foreign aircraft identify themselves. Economically, the base secures fishing grounds and potential oil and gas reserves. It's a staging point for Coast Guard and maritime militia, harassing other nations' activities. The first pour of concrete isn't just construction. It's a declaration of dominance. The balance of power in Asia shifts, one island at a time. For local fishermen, a base at Scarborough Shoal means total exclusion. Generations who relied on its rich lagoon would lose their livelihood overnight. The economic shock would ripple through coastal villages, boat builders, vendors, and families all affected. The social fabric woven by the sea would unravel. But the impact goes global. Scarborough Shoal sits astride a vital trade route. Over $3 trillion in commerce passes through these waters each year. A Chinese base, bristling with radar and missiles, could monitor or even threaten this artery of global trade. Insurance costs would soar, shipping might reroute, and the principle of freedom of navigation would be challenged. The world's highway could become a checkpoint. The consequences would be felt from Manila to New York. A local crisis becomes a global risk. A base at Scarborough Shoal would transform the military balance in Southeast Asia. For the Philippines, it's an existential threat. Chinese jets could reach Manila in minutes, and powerful radars would peer deep into Philippine airspace. The armed forces of the Philippines would be outmatched, their sovereignty under constant threat. For the U.S., it's a direct challenge to its role as security guarantor in the Indo-Pacific. American ships and planes would be within easy range of Chinese missiles, complicating military planning and raising the risk of conflict. Washington would likely boost its presence, send more troops and ships, and accelerate military aid to allies. The South China Sea would become a crowded, tense arena of great power competition. The risk of miscalculation, an accidental clash, a warning shot, would skyrocket. Every move would be scrutinized, every blip on radar a potential crisis. The region would live under the constant shadow of escalation, the stakes peace or war in the Pacific. As China pours concrete, Manila faces public outrage and pressure to act. The government files protests, rallies ASEAN, and turns to its treaty ally, the United States. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty could be invoked if China uses force, putting Washington in a bind, risk confrontation over a few rocks, or step back and lose credibility. The U.S. would likely respond with military posturing, warships and aircraft challenging China's claims, joint exercises with the Philippines, and fast-tracked weapons deliveries. Economically, the U.S. and allies might impose targeted sanctions on Chinese companies and officials. China would retaliate, escalating tensions into a new kind of Cold War. The world would be forced to choose sides. The fragile peace that has held for decades would be pushed to the brink. Scarborough Shoal would become a symbol of global division. The choices made here could shape the world order for years to come. The stakes are nothing less than the future of peace in Asia. For Mateo and his village, the base means more than lost income. It's the loss of a way of life. Fishing grounds gone, families struggle, children leave school, and the market grows quiet. The community's spirit is replaced by resentment and anxiety. The Chinese base looms on the horizon, a daily reminder of dispossession. Military buildup brings new challenges: foreign troops, constant drills, and the ever-present threat of conflict. Parents worry for their children's safety. Life is lived under a cloud of uncertainty. The psychological toll is immense: stress, fear, and a sense of powerlessness. News of naval standoffs and diplomatic threats is no longer distant. It's personal. The human cost is measured not just in lost livelihoods, but in lost peace of mind. Millions are caught in the crossfire of a great power struggle. The true price of the base is paid by ordinary people. Scarborough Shoal is more than rocks and water. It's a test of the world order. Building a base here defies international law and signals that might makes right. If China can rewrite borders here, what stops others elsewhere? The precedent threatens global stability and the security of small nations everywhere. The South China Sea is a vital artery for the world economy. Disruption would ripple across continents. Tensions between the U.S. and China could spark wider conflict with catastrophic consequences. The fate of Scarborough Shoal is a test case for the 21st century. Will rules and cooperation prevail, or will power and ambition redraw the map? The world's response will shape the future of peace and freedom of the seas. In these shallow waters, the stakes are global. The outcome here could decide the future of international order itself.